Alright everyone, welcome back. Now we're going to download Pycharm. So in Google, just type in Pycharm and go to the website here and hit download now. And we're going to get the community version, which is the free one. So just download that. It shouldn't take too long. I'm going to leave the video running. But yeah, Pycharm is my favorite IDE. So let's just Google that. It's kind of a mouthful. IDE. Integrated Development Environment. Software application that provides comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. Yep. So normally it consists of a source code editor. That's what we were looking at in idle. Build automation tools and a debugger. Most have intelligent code completion. All right, cool. This finished, so we're gonna get out of this and get this guy running. Next, just leave all default. Associate it with Python. That's okay. Close out of this. This coffee is really good. I've recently been using a French press to make coffee, and I love it. The only thing is, I don't know what to do with the grounds. I usually just put them down the garbage disposal, but some people say it's not good because it clogs it up. But I haven't seen that. I don't know. Hasn't happened yet. Let me check the weather. I was trying to go to the beach this weekend, but huh, interesting. All right, so let's just run that. So from now on, we're going to do all our Python editing in this guy in Pycharm. So right off the bat, we have something to do. We're going to create a new project. So all of our scripts need to be inside some sort of project. So we're just going to create a new one. We're going to give it a location. I'm going to put it on the desktop in a folder called YouTube Tuts for tutorials. Yep, we're going to use the project interpreter 3.6. So I'll open this up to show you. So you could use something called virtual environments, which basically it's for every single project you make, you could have its own separate environment. So that comes in handy when you have a lot of different projects that have different requirements or different modules that you need to download. So in Python, there's the base package that comes with Python, and then there's all these third-party, basically extensions or packages or modules and dependencies. So they get kind of crazy and out of control if you have a lot of them. So if you have a lot of different projects, it's kind of easier just to start with a clean slate. But we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to use existing interpreter, and it already knows where it is. So it found exactly where Python got installed. So we can look at that real fast just to see what it looks like. So let's browse to it. So when we installed Python in the first video, we told it to install it in this location. So let's just go to it just to confirm. C users, Fran, app data. Where's app data? Local. Man, they really bury it. It used to be just on the C drive, like C Python. Python. Okay, right here. So this is Python, our interpreter. So we're telling Pycharm use this to program it, like use this right here. So that's all that is. Okay, so just sort of what the layout looks like when you start. There's nothing here. We can't type anything. Oops. So you might be wondering, all right, how do we start like typing Python? So we need to actually create a script. So if we right-click on our folder here and say new Python file and just call it Python test script. No, I don't like that name. That's dumb. It doesn't really matter what you name it, but I don't like that name. Let's go YouTube scripts. Alright, now we have somewhere where we can type. So this is similar to that notepad thing we were in earlier. So you'll notice Pycharm has this notepad area and it has this little directory browser. So you can see right here, YouTube Tuts is the folder we're in. When we created the project in Pycharm, it made it right here. And then we put that py file in there. So now we can actually start programming. So let's just do the same thing we did. We just printed 4. So let's just print 4 and try running that. Now the first time you run a script, you always have to right click on it here and say run that script. And subsequent times, now you see this is up here, you can just hit this play button. So you'll see this little shell popped up. So this is like that shell we were looking at in Untitled before. So all those components are just put into one handy program here, which is pretty useful. You notice this, we get the code syntax highlighting, and it even goes a little bit further. It tells you what type, like what input it's expecting, which is very helpful. So yeah, one other thing, I'm going to make the font bigger so it's easier to see. So to do that, we just go right here, settings, appearance, and font. We'll try making it 18. I don't think that's too big, but we'll look at it after this video and see. Alright, so that's all the introduction for Pycharm I'm going to give. Just, I want to get up to speed fast, so we're not going to go through every single feature. We're just going to start using it, and as new things are introduced, I'll try to talk about them. But let's just start with printing things. So in Python, you can print things, but just by saying print and then whatever you want to print. So we've been printing numbers before. We can also print sentences or strings, as they're called in Python. So to do that, you indicate it with double quotes or single quotes too. So in other languages, if you use single quotes, that means a character like C or A or B. But in Python, you can use double quotes or single quotes for strings. So now we can just say, this coffee is really good. And we can print that out. And it prints it out to the shell down there. So you get the idea with printing. We can print strings and we can print numbers. So print 5. Now we have a string and a number. So also, let's print out what the type of this is. So some handy things, there's all these little handy things you can do in Python. So we'll just say print type and basically provide it with, let me just start that from scratch. So just type print, now say type, double parentheses, and now what do you want to print the type of? Well, we have to give it a string. So say this coffee is good. Now let's do the same thing with this, print type, and give it a number. Okay, so class string, class int. So now we've just confirmed what data type these are. So this is a string, this is an int. And that'll come in handy a little bit later. Just realize that strings and numbers are different. Now this is an int. If we gave it a decimal place, it should give us a type double or float. Float means a floating decimal point, so that makes sense too. So that's the basics of printing things. Now let's talk about variables. So you've probably heard of variables from math. It's just a way to store data. So a way to temporarily store data or assign something to something else. So in Python, it's real easy to make a variable. You just type the name. In other languages, you have to give it a lot of other data, but in Python, just give it a name. So we're going to make a variable called coffee mug string. Set that equal to a string. This is a coffee string. And I just did that just to show you can call it anything you want. So coffee mug string. Now let's do coffee mug int and set it equal to 6. So now we have these two variables set equal to other values. So we can just reference those variables by just saying print coffee mug string and print coffee mug int. So let's run that. This is a coffee string 6. So yeah, we get the same exact output as we would expect from before. I'm going to cut the video off now because it's 10 minutes right now, and we'll just jump right back into this in the next one. All right.